Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another BTNeanderthal video. Today we're going to be covering how bosses spawn in Diablo 2 Resurrected. First of all, there's some things we actually need to define, and that is bosses. What are bosses? Bosses are uniques. The ones with the little minions, they have like auras and different affixes on them. There are champions. These guys usually have multiple champions, like blue guys, and then they have like little minions near them. Not in all circumstances, but in most. Then there are bosses, such as Bloodraven, Griswold, Shank, things like that. And then there's also super uniques, which include things like Corpse Fire in the Den of Evil, Bishibosh in the Cold Plains. So now that we know what each one of those things are, now we can understand some of the basics. A boss will spawn in at a range of 2 screens based on your character's current location. Each area in the game has a minimum and maximum amount of elites allowed to spawn in the area. Uniques take up 1, each champion also takes up 1. Not the champion pack, each champion boss. Even if it's in a group, each one of those takes up 1 of those elite spots. Another thing is bosses and super uniques also take 1 each, or is this elite count. You can have less than the minimum amount if the density rolls extremely bad. So you can have less than the minimum in that scenario. You can have more than the max if a champion pack was the last to spawn in the area. So for example, we'll say Cold Plains. In Cold Plains and normal, you're only allowed to have 1 elite pack spawn. But if that 1 elite pack spawn is a champion pack, you can have 2 or even 3 because it's a champion pack. So they come together, but each one of them does take it. So technically it would take 3 of the elite pack spots, but all it requires to spawn in is 1. So, say for example in Hell Cold Plains, you have 7 to 9. If your 9th elite pack to spawn in is a champion, you could have 10 or even 11 total. That's the scenario where it's more than the max. Again, these spawn 2 screens away from your character's current location, so you can kind of manipulate this a little bit depending on your positioning and if you know the map layout. You can also have more than the max with a guaranteed elite tile that spawns in after you've already spawned in the first mob. Say for example in the tower, in normal, you're only allowed to spawn in 1 monster, but if you have that L-shaped guaranteed map, then after you've already spawned in, then you can actually get a 2nd elite pack. You can have more than the max if a boss or super unique spawns in afterwards, because these guys also count as well. Cold Plains as an example, if you spawn Bishibosh in first, you will not get another elite pack. However, even though it says 1, if you spawn in and Bishibosh isn't close, there will be an elite pack that spawns in, density willing, of course, you will get Bishibosh. So even though it says 1, a super unique has to be there regardless, it just happens to take away from that elite pack number. In Nightmare you have 4 to 5, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the minimums versus the maximums here, because I explained earlier how you can have less than the minimum and more than the maximum. So the game does have the opportunity to stop spawning in things and say that's good enough at 4. That's what the minimum means. It will stop spawning in elite packs at 4 if it decides. It also has a maximum of 5, so which means it can just decide, okay, 4 is actually not enough on this run, then let's do 5. And then in Hell we have a minimum of 7, so let's say we're in the Cold Plains, we see Bishibosh, that's 1, we see 6 more elite packs, unless the game decides to spawn in 9, which is totally possible. So each game, the amount of elite packs is predetermined basically how many it's going to spawn in that run. So in Hell you'll have 7 to 9, and you might have 8 that run, you might have 7 that run, you might have 9 that run. But again, like I said, there's the exceptions of it could be lower and it actually could be higher, and we already explained those details. And a fun little note here, when a unique pack has an aura upon loading, all the monsters in Rage get a random aura for 1 tick until it actually adjusts to the proper aura which the unique actually has, the main elite pack. Hopefully you found this video helpful and informational. Thank you all for watching. If you did, be sure to like the video so other people can see it. Comment, let me know what you guys thought, and if you understood what I was talking about here, because this is a little bit going into the mechanics of the actual game, because I'm going to be making more content, and I have a couple more videos coming out very soon. Actually, a bunch more videos coming out pretty soon related to this video. Be sure to check those out when they do pop up. Much love to all of you guys. You are all beasts.